Weather forecast for Route 7. Rain, rain, and more rain, with a chance of complete ownage. Welcome back to Pokémon White. We're going to move on past the Celestial Tower as I was about to do in the last video before I noticed there was an item all the way up there. So, is there anything interesting in this house? Okay, so here we're going to get some free healing, even though we can reasonably go back to Mistralton without even stepping into the tall grass, so whatever. Oh, wow! Dysfunctional marriage much? It rarely happens in kids' games like Pokemon, but wow, this guy doesn't seem to get along with his wife. And apparently, grandson, hopefully I'm right, you never know with these sprites, hates Grandma too because her meals are nothing but vegetables. So, the X-Transceiver is ringing, so what is it for? Oh, it's Mom. Not expecting much out of this call for some reason. Yes, I'm on Route 7, so why are you calling me? How are your Pokemon? You can't... Quit the banter and go straight to the point! What are you calling me for? Don't forget to take it. What? That was it? Why? You were just wasting my time. What the fuck is the point of that? Remind me that you exist? What the hell? Anyway, let's beat up on a clown in order to forget all about that. So, something that I wanted to mention, because I've had a few of these lately. As I've said before multiple times, I don't take requests, but nonetheless, people still don't get it and ask me, would you ever consider doing this game, or that game, or whatever? And right now, I only have plans for 2 future LPs, White 2 and another, as of yet undisclosed LP that I'm going to be doing once Wind Waker is gone. But after that, not only do I not have the slightest clue of what I'm going to do, but I don't need your suggestion, guys, especially when they're the same games over and over and over. Such as Majora's Mask, for example. Remember how I emphasized in my Ocarina of Time Let's Play that, oh, Swords Dance! Well, that's a straight-up upgrade from Hone Claws, even though it's not going to be boosting Rock Slide's accuracy anymore, but Swords Dance is generally a much better choice than Hone Claws in general. Hone Claws doesn't see too much use overall, unfortunately, because low accuracy moves are already hated. And oh wow, the X-Scissor TM! Wow, 2 back-to-back move changes for Excadrill. I'm gonna get rid of Rock Smash since it was starting to get really weak. I'm going to replace it with X-Scissor instead. And the reason why I'm not using something like, say, Brick Break is that it's really, really redundant with the other moves that I have. For example, it works against Steel, but so does Earthquake. It works against Ice, but so does Rock Slide. See, it just wouldn't bring anything to the table, whereas X-Scissor would have the benefit of working on grass types and dark types and stuff like that. So as for what I was talking about earlier, I said a million times over the course of my Ocarina of Time LP that I was never ever going to LP Majora's Mask due to me hating the crap out of that game. But apparently that wasn't enough for some people who keep asking me if I'm going to do it. And I was sort of worried that it had Sap Sipper. Fortunately, it was a Chlorophyll variant. But, yeah, Majora's Mask, no matter how many times you ask, no matter how many times you beg, it's not happening. Ever. Not even as an April Fool's joke. I already did something very similar with Hello Kitty Happy Party Pals, and then the whole Zard-Tard thing with Pokemon Fire Red. So, Majora's Mask, don't expect to see a second of it on this channel ever. Another game that I've had quite a few requests for, now that it's been established that I can do GameCube emulation decently well, Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD. Once again, no! No! I am not touching these games with a frigging conkeldurr concrete stick. And it's just, you know, I don't like these games at all, and people seem to believe that it's only because it's full of double battles. It's not just that. It's the fact that the environments are dreadfully drab. It's nothing but deserts and slums and crap like that. And on top of that, it's really, really short. It's insultingly short. I'm gonna tell you something. If Colosseum and XD were made on the Game Boy Advance instead, everyone would be able to see it for the tribe that they are. The only reason why people have any appreciation for these games whatsoever is because they're the only 3D Pokémon RPGs released thus far. And, you know, I can sort of understand that, you know, it's flashy, it's so much better in terms of graphics than anything in the main series, but at the same time, graphics don't do diddly squat for me. You have to have some good gameplay too, and Colosseum and XD just don't do that for me. And oh, we just reached the entrance to Twist Mountain. Just got an Ultra Ball here, and Twist Mountain is a place that we cannot access as of now. We need to have beaten Skyla to do so, though I guess we can take on this one lonely trainer. So, yeah, Colosseum and XD not happening. The only thing that saved these games from being utterly forgettable for me was, well, you might see me coming from a mile away here, but Mirror B. Mirror B was freaking awesome, and it would be amazing if he made more appearances in Pokemon games, but, you know, I'm not really holding my breath here. So yeah, hopefully this is the last time I repeat this for a good long while. These are some games that you will never, ever, ever see covered on this channel. And speaking of annoying things, YouTube Analytics still screwing up, because a few days ago I lost like 40 subscribers all at once. Presumably it was a closed account purge or something to that effect. I wouldn't dare imagine that 40 people unsubbed in unison, though I did diss Chugga Conroy in my last video, so that might be a potential reason. Well, the term dissing is maybe a little too strong. I did contradict him on some things that he said, though. So, yeah, I lost about 40 subscribers, and YouTube Analytics tells me that I lost about 400 in a day. Now, I'm not that good at math. Actually, yes, I am pretty good at math. The only thing that I really can't stand is calculus, but that's not the point. Anyway, apparently I need to have a gym badge from the Miss Tralton gym. Hello? 3 Pokemon in their 40s here? No, apparently I need to have the badge to get through. And to get the badge, we first need to take care of Celestial Tower. So how about we head over there? Fuck! This is what happens when you jump off one of these things and you don't want to. Random battles galore! So, what was I saying? Yeah, YouTube Analytics really failed very, very hard. I know how to count, and I know I didn't lose 400 subscribers again. I just lost 40, which means that, remember what I said a few days ago about my subscriber count stagnating? Well, that's not helping matters! But fortunately, I don't care. Good thing I'm not paid by the sub or by the view. So don't worry, I'm not quitting my day job to do LPs full time. And god damn it, those freaking encounter rates are maddening. Fall down one of these ledges about three steps in, and you gotta fight 2 Pokemon. Just wonderful. And these 2 Pokemon include a detect spammer, sorry, on top of that. Well, can't really call it spamming since it used it only once. But it's gonna live to see another day, so it's probably gonna be using detect again if given the chance. Am I right? Please tell me I'm wrong. I'm right. Awesome. So yeah, now we can call this guy a detect spammer. And doubly so, now that it decided to use it on turns where it's not even guaranteed. But, yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, my sub count. Why was I talking about that? As I said before, I don't really give a crap, so let's head over to the Celestial Tower. Instead, I'm just gonna grab some quick healing, because that Boldor over there actually hurt my Lilligant a bit, even though I recovered most of that HP since then, so it doesn't really matter, but oh well, free healing never hurts. So, Celestial Tower is the mandatory cemetery dungeon. We've had the Lavender Tower, we've had Mount Pyre, we've had the Lost Tower, and I'm going to be going with Excadrill in the lead. It's going to be made greatly easy thanks to X-Scissor, because, well, there are lots of LGMs to be found here. And, by the way, listen to the music! Does that sound familiar? Guardia Forest, Chrono Trigger. And I know I'm not the first person to make that observation. I know I'm very late to the party, but just in case there's someone here who still hasn't made the connection, which I severely doubt because, as I said, everyone already knows about this, then my job is done, I guess. So, LGM is one of the 2 new Pokemon that can be found here. It evolves into Behem, which is a pretty cool-looking but forgettable psychic type. LGM actually is, well, it stands for LGM, Little Green Monster, and Behem for BEM, Big-Eyed Monster, which are common abbreviations for aliens. Behem, not very useful. I was about to say forgettable, not very useful, and the two sort of scrambled together. Pretty forgettable Pokemon in battle. Its stats really aren't that impressive, unfortunately. Its move pool isn't that much better, though it can be said that it's a pretty solid Trick Room user. At the very least, it also has Nasty Plot, so I guess it can use the two together for a decent effect. It also has Analytic if you don't want to use Trick Room, I guess, which boosts its damage by 30%, and since it's so slow, it's going to get that boost pretty much almost always. And Mono Psychic just isn't that good of a typing, unfortunately, both offensively and defensively. So, yeah, pretty forgettable Pokemon overall. The much more interesting Pokemon that can be found here, though, is Litwick, which eventually evolves into Chandelure. Now, one thing about Chandelure is that it's sometimes lumped into the same category as Pokemon like Garbodor and Vanillux and stuff, as Pokemon that are based off random objects, and as such, they're an indication that Generation 5 sucks. To which I answer, if you're going to make a Pokemon that's based on a random object, you can do it right, and you can do it wrong. Some Pokemon, in fact, most Pokemon that are based on random objects, usually do it fairly wrong, but Chandelure would be the exception that confirms the rule. Because it's not just a chandelier, just look at it, it's freaking badass, and you take a look at the Pokédex flavor text and you say, holy shit, that thing is creepy, move over, Slenderman, there's a new terror in town! So, personally, in my opinion, I think Chandelure is one of the coolest single Pokemon to come out of Generation 5, and perhaps even the entire series as a whole. Now, I think... I don't know if you're excited to hear me talk about Chandelure, because everything that could have been said about this thing in terms of its combat abilities has already been said. Nonetheless, I'm going to go over them quickly in the next video, just in case you've been living under a rock for the past few years. I'm going to do so next time, however, because we're just about running out of time, so in the next episode, we're going to be climbing further into the Celestial Tower and taking a look at what Chandelure can do for your team, even without Shadow Tag.